We learn to live and live to learn in what has turned out to be an unprecedented situation, an unprecedented pandemic. With history being written across the geography of Mother Earth, and a minor virus has created a major catastrophe, making us reboot, reset, rewind, rethink before we rebuild a new future. The only thing constant this way is change. यदि एक चीज जिंदगी में जो स्थिर है वो बदलाव है. The only thing consistent is inconsistency. The only thing certain is uncertainty. यदि एक चीज सुनिश्चित है ऐसे आलम में तो वो अनिश्चितता है. So change is a must. And all progress necessitates change. The point is, though, that all change does not lead to progress, making us a little skeptical, a little doubting, a little apprehensive about what kind of change needs to be introduced into our society to overcome the unforeseen challenges thrown up in the COVID environment. And to do that, at edumate.tv, we get together and build an ecosphere on our portal with students, parents, teachers, principals, vice chancellors, ministers, educationists from India, then subsequently across the globe. And we will submit a white paper to the government of India, highlighting the challenges and putting forth your creative solutions in what we call is a candid COVID classroom, the new normal, where we meet and greet the new world. This program is brought to you by Ahead Education. It's an organization that looks at education ahead, and it's very kindly powered by one of the most beautiful universities of this country, Eternal University. And as always, in our new normal program, while I welcome you, we have a host of wonderful guests and speakers. And our topic today is our focus is on one section, a very critical section of society, that's women. Women who've taken this country ahead, many of you, but also women who unfortunately have been forced to leave behind, and they've not been dealt with equanimity.
As you all know, that Eternal University is established for a women empowerment mission. It was established, I think you all are aware, in 2009. Earlier, it was started as an engineering college in 2007, and it is taking mission. Earlier, undergraduate courses were only for the girls, but now our postgraduate and PhD, all at every step, this women university is pushing the girls empowerment. This is dedicated first university of Himachal Pradesh, or especially of northern region, where girls are very secure, the environment is very secure.
A lot of the people you cater to in the societies in Punjab, particularly, and parts of Haryana, as well as Himachal, there's been high discrepancy against women by choice, unfortunately. The gender bias has been very large, right since birth. So what is the inculcation that you're taking over and above security to ensure that women find their rightful place in our society through career options?
Sir, Baba Iqbal Singh Ji, Chancellor of the University, has started or took initiative to give education to girls who are especially from the remote area, from the villages. So earlier, another place which is senior or the Guru, Sant Atar Singh Ji Maharaj, who was who I think you all are aware, he when Banaras University was, you can say, established, he was the key member, he the founder. Madan Mohan Malviya Ji took him for the foundation stone. So he started way back when even India was not, freedom was not even initiated in 1904. The first girls' university in Sangrur was not university, the college was initiated, where only the remote village girls was given admissions. And this mission was carried on, forwarded by Santeja Singh ji, and now our Chancellor Baba Iqbal Singh ji, who took all the girls from the villages whose father or the parents or the family who are not in financially not good enough. The education, almost 10,000 girls were given free education at Baru Sahib, and other education for the girls in other streams are highly subsidized.
Let's get in some of our principals to react to this. First up, Sudha Mahajan, Principal of Cambridge International Schools in Kullu. Good afternoon to you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Madam Mahajan, you've heard what Dr. Cheema had to say about the views of himself, his personal, about Babaji, as well as about Eternal University. I'd like you to respond to that in the context of gender bias in education.
I have been fortunate because I have visited Baru Sahib and the Eternal University. I was there in 2016, where for 3 days I was asked to do a communication program with the girls who were doing B.Ed. And whatever Sir has just shared with us is exactly what I experienced there. There were a lot of girls who had come from the absolute interiors, not only of Punjab, but some of them were from the other parts of the country. And they were definitely empowered. And when I asked them about the great value system that's present there, they were all very much into that value system and understood it and did not feel that it was being imposed on them. So that was something which was very, very wonderful. And whatever they are doing, I think is unmatched, and it's the best that can be done.
Empowerment is when we have rights to take decision about our own life. We can take decision only when we have money. So providing jobs create empowerment, and for providing them job, it is very essential that we give them the needed skills so that they can fit well in the jobs they are working in. And for those things, we are trying to give them a proper platform so that they can have the confidence, the skill, the exposure they need. If we teach a girl, we are teaching the whole family, and we are empowering the whole family. And on this motto, we here at Eternal University are right now working so that we can empower the girl and we can empower the whole family so they can have a better lifestyle, they can have a better economic status.
I feel, that ladies are very pro these days. They are trying to find out opportunities themselves wherever it is possible. I have seen even in the remotest parts of Punjab as well as Himachal, that wherever there is a chance, there is opportunity, they try to come out, they want to learn new things, and there are different kinds of self-help groups which we are able to find. And especially in Himachal, what I have seen is that people, they are focusing, there is no gender bias basically, and people, as CBSE has also worked a lot on gender sensitivity, so the people are giving equal opportunities to the girls also, their daughters also. Ladies have come up, making beautiful things, even making use of the technology. So this all is happening. I think, by and by it will become a new normal where the ladies will be taking a lot of initiative and will be doing it physically. I think, in Punjab and Himachal, the ladies are very, very strong. They do a lot of work, and so they are not frightened. The only certain things, which keep them back is their own families.
See, for women empowerment, like as earlier said, that in Punjab and Himachal, the women are already empowered under the Nani Shah program. If you see, the one women is educated, that it imparts qualities and all the good parents to the 2-3 families. And that the message go to the in the society. So like this, our worthy chancellor always say that we should go all for the women empowerment. That is because of that Eternal University has converted to the girl university of the North India.
So main concern, especially in a post-COVID, the way we are teaching online classes, most of the girls are from the remote region. So we are finding, I think, almost double, triple problems to connect with the girls. So, biggest concerns is facing by the point which we are talking, that we are trying to empower, but the issues are more and more with us.
You know, when we talk about women empowerment, it's not just because it's the women themselves, I was saying. It's because this country needs them. And it's because they've done so much for this country. Let's take a look at this very special video.
what we call we are getting, what I talk to, so many parents are here which are working from morning 9 to 6. They are working at a job place. Working hours are more. Then they have to come back. They have to work more hard. Like family, it's all about the family. That family has to support women in every circumstance. Then only women can grow. When we compare with other countries also, where I was there in Australia for 3 years, what I see the difference when you are at your workplace and you have that certain limited of time when you can work. You have time for yourself, then where you can focus on your profession as professional life as well as your personal life. Here, when you work, your working hours, it's like I'm having my own business. We don't have that work culture. For the teaching is the best profession here in India.
We respect that, particularly, with working women, working mothers, young mothers. In fact, we at EduMate, we encourage a lot of our staff, young mothers.
In the point of placement, I just want to share the information with you. The final year students, whatever, every year we are getting pass outs almost of 300, 400 girls.
Right.
So 100% of the girls are placed.
And now there's also a fear that with the male migrant labor going back into the villages, the women who are working in the villages may again be deprived. So there could be even a disguised unemployment. It's a very challenging scenario right now.
I should say I don't know. Because when you're talking about the village and it happening at the village level, there is already disguised employment in agriculture. So this kind of disguised employment will increase and we won't even know about it. And the only thing is that if we could provide better education there.
And the ladies are meticulously trying for it. They are coming up. Even in board results, we have seen that the girls are everywhere. And when it comes to offices and any of the corporate offices, even in teaching, we find that they are working very hard and they try to deliver their best. But somehow, again, I'll come to the same thing, it is mindset, it is male chauvinism, it is a male-dominated society. Where ladies are not preferred as much, when they are able to find the counterpart is available, that is the male is available for that, and they they pay more to them as compared to ladies. As you were talking about the migrant labor, as they have gone back, and naturally people will have choices and they will employ the men folk more as compared to women. Why? Because it is always, I have always heard that many women, even in the education system, in our schools also, some ladies come and complain. Teachers say that we are spoken about that you always carry a baggage. That is, you have your children, you have your commitment, you will not be able to deliver as much. And there the ladies have to take stand, I suppose. They have to show that it has nothing to do, in spite of all these odds, they are delivering their best. And we need to be ahead of our times. We have to be very innovative, very creative. We should foresee certain things. Vision should be very, very clear. And we should be able to educate in our surroundings. We should be able to help each other, people for people. I think this will work.
So it's from my own school, where I had a girl in class 12. And when I was taking a round around the school, I found that she was looking unhappy. And when I asked her what it was, she started crying and she did not reply. But then I called her to my office and I told her that whatever is your issue, child, try and share it with somebody whom you kind of trust. So she finally came back to us and she talked to us that her parents wanted her to be a doctor. And so she had taken the medical stream. But she was not interested in doing that. She was a topper. She was one of the bright students. But she was now not interested in doing that. So I told her that, okay, why don't you change? So she said, no, my father will be disappointed because he has done a lot to bring me up. He has worked very hard and he has put me at the best school. So finally, we convinced her to talk to her parents, and her parents said that, well, they never thought like that. And then this girl was very good, and I told her, just write down whatever you feel. So she started writing down, and she said, ma'am, I feel my own story there's so much to write. So I told her, please go ahead and write. So in this lockdown, she has actually written a novel which has been published.
Wow.
And now she is she's become quite a celebrity here. And so she's feeling empowered and she's kind of found her career path.
Because of this COVID problem, I think there is a plethora of opportunity which is coming for the girl student. I will start with one example. One of my student, Ms. Parul Bali, she's from microbiology. She had just started a YouTube channel just 2 days back, and now she's getting about 300, subscribers in that, and she's teaching painting through that channel. So many of our students and many of the students, they can take up this career like content writing, blog writing, of course, the development of softwares, e-commerce, telecalling, then journalist and editor jobs, and of course, there are so many new career paths like blockchain technologies, and there is PR, advertising, and especially sir, in the field of science, there are so many opportunities in the biopharmaceutical sector. For example, in the R&D and in the quality control, there are so many jobs. Government of India, especially through DBT and DST, is emphasizing that the students can go into the industry, R&D, and they are giving them free education, free training through the DBT Skill Vigyan program. Fortunately, we also have this program in our university, and I'm the coordinator of that program. Right. In the coming months, we will be empowering the girl student in our university so that they can take employment in the pharmaceutical industries around Himachal Pradesh and in some part of Haryana and Punjab.
There is a number of women which are looking to start or restart their career in this time. Our university gives them a best platform, mainly to the female faculty, for conducting their research in various disciplines. mainly there are different projects related, just like DBT sponsored and DST sponsored program. Here we have JRF and SRF, Junior Research Fellow and Senior Research Fellow, which are doing job, which are getting job during their PhD program only.
You have rewritten the way education should take place in this country, because you've taken the end-to-end responsibility for each of your students. It's quite remarkable. And the fact that you give it a 360 holistic flavor to it really becomes very, very empowering. And I salute you for the job that each of you do at the Eternal University. In fact, it seems that your quest for improvement itself is eternal. But so is the quest for digital connectivity in this country. It's got to be eternal because there's a huge digital divide building up, where there's a large part of haves and have-nots, and the have-nots don't have the devices to be able to study. I know Eternal University, through our prior conversations, has made sure that they were first in providing online education to all their students, which itself is quite praiseworthy. But the fact is that the bandwidth issues are there.
Today, by the divine wish and under the guidance of His Holiness Baba Iqbal Singh Ji, we take the legacy forward with this Eternal University with all world-class standards. Eternal University Baru Sahib came up in 2009 for imparting value-based education in arts, science, nursing, engineering and technology, divine and spiritual music, public health and many more. In the lap of Himalayan's downhill valley, Eternal University meets world-class standards in all its multi-facilities with 16 colleges and schools, spread over 8 lakh square feet area in beautiful Divine Valley. When students who are enwrapped in value-based education with international class reminds the model of Nalanda and Takshashila, our future engineers, nursing professionals, educators, scientists, administrators, managers, teachers, and above all, are good human beings who feels responsibility in creating global village with dedicated human spirit are being nurtured here. And here is our Vice Chancellor, internationally renowned scientist, Dr. Dhaliwal.
With the overview of this unique group of education institution of Kalgita Trust, offering value-based education from the third year of life to PhDs in highly innovative and cutting-edge scientific, technological, and administrative fields through highly competent and committed faculty and staff, you are very cordially invited to visit Baru Sahib for your career development, for comfortable livelihood, and to be our ambassadors for achieving world peace through universal brotherhood.
So, with this Eternal University, let's all, parents and students, join hands together in making highly skilled professionals with moral values and make this world a better place for our future generations.
Beautiful words that have been said. We've got to undo a lot as we start doing things. Now let's get our final word and analysis in from each of our very special guests on what is one of our better programs today. It's dealing with the very sensitive issue of women education and its need for women empowerment, and more importantly, for women enhancement. Dr. Pradeep Singh Cheema, I'd like your last words. Firstly, I was really intrigued by the beautiful statement of Babaji to talk about value-based education. Please elaborate that for us.
Dell is the biggest computer hardware company. They did a survey a few days back, and they have a very, you can say, interesting observations. They said that by 2030, whatever the jobs are required, we haven't been invented yet. So we have to follow the pattern of more and more creative education, interconnected working environment, and role of the educator must be redefined. Similarly, teaching life skills needs to be further very much adaptable or resilient. creativity, communication, collaborations, and emotional intelligence. These are the key bars which has to be checked, because we are now changing our regular class, you can say chalk and talk lectures to distance learning. So I think almost we have a 60 million student across the globe, and what the Dell has said, that almost half of the students are employable, or they can get easily good jobs. So we have to be very much unlockable technologies to the education delivery education system. This pattern we have to follow. We have to be more adaptable, more creative in the teaching pattern. Then we'll be more closer, more easy to get jobs.
To be a successful person, we need to have confidence and then creativity. And as a teacher, it is our sole responsibility to guide the students so that they can have their own dreams or vision, what they want to do, how they can reach there, how to develop their confidence, how to develop a creative touch in them, so that they can imagine, they can think out of the box, and they can think beyond the limits. So in any field, whatever, if it is in science, in engineering, in humanities, in every field we need creative persons and confident persons to achieve things. And more because we are here in this time, or we can say that this is a time where we should take care of our students also. They should be like confident, they should be like happy, they should be satisfied that whatever they are not wasting their time right now. They are also learning, they are giving their exam, they are taking their exam, so that they have that confidence that our time is not wasting.
This is where I'm concerned, and in Himachal, I think all educators here who are there with us today would agree that we, at least in our area, I'm from Kullu, as you all know, that we've gone 10 years ahead in technology. And we have suddenly adapted very beautifully, be it the students, be it the parents, or be it the teachers. So I feel that has been a great learning for everybody, that what we used to tell them in theory and say that change is the only constant. You started your talk with that change is the only constant. But nobody realized that बोलते हैं change is the only constant, तो change क्या हो जाएगा, इतना क्या बदल जाएगा. लेकिन अभी जब बदल गया, तो everybody readily accepted it, so that empowered them. And then in our case, we did a lot of flip teaching, where we asked the children to just pick up any topic of their choice from the curriculum that they wanted to, and just come ahead and teach it, whether they want to teach it in the online class or they want to create a video and then share the video and teach. They are most welcome to do, and then they will handle everything, and the teacher will just be a support to them.
This COVID-19 actually has come as an opportunity. I will call it a boon in some times, in some areas, and technology has been a disguised blessing, basically. And the children, I know they are missing their peers, they are missing their school, teachers, everything. But now that they are not commuting, so there is a lot of time that is saved even with the teachers and the students. So they are, with the help of technology, they are able to do many new things which they were not able to do because of tuitions here and there. They had different classes. School was there, then it was tuition classes, but now they are back home, and it is school home basically, where they are, and they are getting inspired also. And from 1st of April only we started with online classes, and earlier attendance was a problem. The children were not able to connect, but by and by they picked up. And now when everybody has come to know that it has come to stay, they are making the best use of it. There are multiple activities. We are bringing out a lockdown bulletin every week, where children, whatever they are doing, they are posting their things, and that is made in the form of a collage. The schools are getting together, Sahodaya schools are getting together, they are sharing with each other, and so no time is being wasted.
We need Brahm Vidya, that is education with values. And in that sense, our university is well prepared, because our university is a modern Gurukul, where we are not only giving educations, we are also preparing them for the holistic development for their future, because we don't want to create only the like job persons. We want to create the persons who are great for the society, who will serve the society for the universal brotherhood, for the peace around the world, because our students are the messenger of peace. Whenever they will spread around the world, they will definitely do good for the society, for the humanity. And I believe that this time and the coming times will definitely require Brahma Vidya or education with values.
The thing, as a teacher, we shouldn't adopt the institution. We shouldn't adopt the profession. And we should adopt these children. Badu Sahab is doing, we have arranged a very good program, mentoring. So students are divided, group-wise, small group with teacher. They discuss their problems so that their mental satisfaction, their social satisfaction, or if some problem, stress and strain anywhere, we try to solve that also. Sir, one thing more, regarding the placement in our university, by this time we have produced number of SDOs for different jobs in the government. Whatever they can do, help them to do that all. In this way, if we give them opportunity to develop wherever their interests are, there should not be any pressure from the parents. If parents do in the school, colleges, whenever the PTA meetings are there, they must try to console the teacher. Don't go with your dreams, go with the dreams of the students. If this type of situation comes, then and only then we can help our students, both boys and girls. Our university is girls oriented. So we are trying that our institutions, schools, colleges and our three universities we have for the better development of all the personality development, their all-round culture and their social culture and their holistic education.
And we keep learning and living and learning in pandemics, crisis, and opportunities and what have you. And that always makes our ecosphere so special. The ecosphere of parents, students, teachers, principals, vice chancellors, ministers, and every single person in the education walk of society. As I always say, there's only one way to beat that big C of COVID, by 3 C's, by being collective, corrective, and creative. So thank each and every one of you for being that. And of course, don't forget, to educate better, you better edumate.